Well, we're gonna get to the one. I'ma just this was the best drop of the week to me, musically. We're gonna talk about just the music going. We're gonna go just to the music starting first, and we'll get into the shenanigans. But Daystar by Tory Lanez, y'all know we had to talk about it. Well, obviously we got a topic after, so hold all your everybody's raging that's listening that's about to comment saying we not protecting black women or some other crazy shit that's just y'all got going on. Just hold it till next time. We'll get it. This is some of Tory Lanez's best work. It might be his best project to date. It might be his best as put together between R&B and hip hop that he put together today. If you're talking about R&B, that's not right. But considering his rap albums combined, and when he combined the rap and the R&B, I think this might be one of his best albums. He had it to me at an elite level penmanship, right? Like on here, my sister said it best, and I think it might be right. I think he does work better either A, under pressure, or B, with emotion. Because that he had a lot of both of those on this album, and he delivered something that I thought was great. Like, I don't know where it's actually going to land, but it's going to be hard for me personally, especially being a Tory Lanez fan. And we'll talk about, I've said what I said about him before, and we'll talk about that. But being a Tory Lanez fan of his music, it might land at a top 10 like hip hop albums for me this year, because it's really good. There's a lot of good rapping in here when he going through and telling you a story, and you so tuned into it that you might not catch how savvy he is with the pen game. But it's just he rhymed for about, I want to say about 2 minutes on Bittersweet with just like move, like everything was move or smooth or views or this and that, and it just kept going and kept going. I'm just like, damn, it's just like I was just like, damn, like I thought that the highlight would easily be Sorry But I Had To, which is everybody I'm sure is going after, which is kind of like the diss track with all the names. But on Bittersweet, he's just explaining how he feels about everything that's been going on and his friends that have turned on him without even trying to hear his side of it. So he gets on Kehlani, and in the middle of Kehlani, he's like, hey, JoJo, you take notes too. Like, y'all, and he started spazzing out on them, dog. Like, not really disrespecting them, but just telling about, like, that's up for debate. But just like, not really like, when I say not disrespect, I'm like, not calling him like bitch or ugly or the pussy whack or something stupid like that. He just dissecting the fakeness of what they've been doing and how they've been moving. And he like, well, if y'all moving like that, I understand, but let's do this with some rules. Like, and let me tell you, and then JoJo, you take notes too. Like, and they just keep going and going and going. And that may sound petty to you as far as like lyricism go, but for Tory Lanez, I've been waiting for something like this. There's a lot of good songs. If you really peep though, the chance bar turned into 3 gospel songs. And I don't really know if that's by design. But if it is, the disrespect is so savvy, dog. Like, the disrespect. And if you really peep the Queen and Slim, you would know that sound a lot like Chance the Rapper's Lost. Lost. Yep. So that sound a lot like Chance. So I don't know if he was like, I'll let you go because I don't want to go on a tangent about this because we got to talk about this probably for the next 20 minutes. But I think this is Tory Lanez's best product that he's put together musically. My standout as far as right now is actually still an R&B song, which is Solar Drive at Night. I think that song is great. It's a lot of good vocals in that song.
Yeah, so strictly from a music standpoint, I would have to agree this is Tory Lanez's best project. I think my biggest critique of Tory Lanez is just he has nothing to talk about. Like, he's so all over the place that he is just mimicking other people's styles. And while that shows his talent level, which is amazing, it just doesn't solidify who he is as an artist. I had that same critique of Meek. Like, when Meek came out, like, once he moved away from the streets, it's like he really didn't have anything to talk about, and he got lost in his rollies and his Phantoms and his cars, and it really wasn't compelling. After you go through something like with Meek, he had to go to jail, unfortunately. He had to do all that. Then it became about social justice reform. He came back with Championships, and that was one of his best projects because he had something to talk about. Same thing with like a Kendrick, after talking about or once he'll talk about black people, then he'll talk about his family lineage, then he'll talk about like growing up in the hood. But having something to talk about will really dictate your level of work. And I think for a long time, Tory just had a chip on the shoulder trying to prove that he could rap or prove that he can make a good song. Now that he was able to focus on a specific topic, whether that be I Still Love Meg, or whether that be everybody that was talking crazy to me, y'all need to watch your mouth, whether that be, hey, we need to do better as black men, we need to do better as the black community.
Last three was great. Those last three about black community was great.
Like, he had a specific message that brought his talent level, and it just brought it up to highlight it and put it on display. Now you got a message with it. This is your full potential. I think that in his earlier Breakfast Club interviews, he was talking about how his name was biblical and how he wanted to find success first, but he wanted to eventually go into more of a biblical type of rap style where he can actually not preach, but say these type of things that he, like you were saying, like those last couple songs where he was kind of telling people how to get back into God and how we need to start, fighting the devil, so to speak, not necessarily in a biblical sense, but like how the devil kind of works in our world to kind of tear us apart and kind of bring us down, and the things that we see as black people in this country. And I think he did that, which kind of fall in line with he wanted to name that album in which he was doing that Daystar after his name. So I think that's kind of like, I don't know, it's like what's it called? A self-fulfilling prophecy, because he did say he wanted his last album to be called that. And to kind of see where the circumstances are, I felt like this was like this was like that Hail Mary pass in the fourth quarter, you down, but you got to throw it to the end zone. Like, this is what this album felt like. This is all or nothing. And his back was against the wall, and he pulled out every, like, I could have went without the Queen of Slim, like the singing part, because it was so much like Chance the Rapper.
The back half of it.
Yeah, once he switched it up and started talking that talk and actually started breaking down the situation, I was like, yo.
The back half of it was
this is it. I can't even say I don't like that song.
Yeah. The back half of it had you feeling like you were seeing exactly what his side of the story was. Like, you was exactly that night, like you was understanding. Then he had the record. I don't know if it's actual recording, but the in between it had like some girl. I don't know if it's Meg Tiger or not, but some girl tripping out, and it was all kind of just like, damn.
He was really kind of like what you were saying with Wayne, like him telling that story. You can kind of see him go from the hook to that. Like, he literally painted that pic, and that's the sign of a true artist, like a great artist, to really paint that picture for you to see it. So I do think that this is some of his, if not his best work, but I do got my critiques, and that kind of isn't in line with the music itself. And the music itself, I really do respect it. As a project, he showed that he still has a top tier level talent, but with some of the shenanigans, that's where my critiques come in.
Yeah, so let's get straight to it. So for anybody that is confused at this point, you must have been living on the rock. But Tory Lanez, basically, this whole album is him kind of telling his side of the story. We've heard Meg's story on Instagram Live, and for the last 2 months, we've been hearing it. We've been hearing different pieces from different people, but it has been very one-sided. And we got a pod on this as well, and we talked about it a bit from the information that we know now. To me, this is more information. This is another side of the story. It's another piece of the puzzle. And I have to consider it. So if that's disrespectful by anybody, if you offended by that, I apologize. But I feel like you got to consider that when somebody's being accused of something, that you gotta take both sides and then try to understand and put together your thoughts. Right. So for me, I think this album did what it was supposed to do. It made me question it. Right. It made me question what really happened. That's all. I'm not saying that it didn't. I'm not saying either one of them is lying, but it brought up some questions. It painted a picture that seemed a lot clearer than the picture that Meg created. I'm not saying that's wrong or right. Obviously, Tory Lanez had a lot more to say on it. Meg Thee Stallion was just alive, so it was kind of short. It wasn't, she just basically just said, "Hey, Tory shot me." The best friend was dissing Tory. The producer been dissing Tory for forever. We don't, since basically the day it happened. So we just kind of pieced those together, and then we understood what happened. Tory Lanez dissected every point of view that you can actually take on this, right? From the lines like, "Hey, how can you identify me if you were shot from behind?" Like, hey, we know you was drunk as hell. You was on that 1942. We was at Kylie house. You was mad. I was in the pool. Jealousy. It was a lot, right? A lot happened. A lot. It seemed to me happened. It was a lot more messier and cut and dried. And hey, Tory was drunk off his ass and he shot me because I wanted to leave. Like, yeah, maybe. But Tory Lane's side, yeah, maybe. Like that. That's kind of where I'm at with it. So that's where I'm at with the story. I'm gonna get into some more of the shenanigans too. But as far as the album and kind of moving away from it, from the first part of our argument is our debate, I should say, I feel it did its job, right? It put his foot back in the door, like, hey, I didn't do this, and it was believable. It was very believable. It was something that he put a lot of thought and time into this to actually make everybody understand what he was trying to say. It wasn't just a couple of songs where it's just some bullshit going on. It was 3-4 minute long verses about telling the story, and he did it very well. I mean, as far as the artists go, he did it very well. There was some shit there I could have did without, but I'm sure you're gonna get into it and we can talk about it.
Yeah, I think if we're talking about it from a strategic level, this is his only move. And surprisingly, this wasn't even a move that I saw. Like, how can you respond in the times that we're in now, in the whole protect Black women, believe women movement? How can you respond to an allegation of you physically harming somebody to the point where they're accusing you of shooting them? You can't really attack their character, because then they'll flip it on you and be like, see, I knew it. You the type of person that would get angry, and you probably did that. You can't straight up deny the whole event, because obviously something happened, but you can't say too much because it's an open case. So all of that, navigate. Yeah. So all of that he had to navigate. So it was like, but if you don't say nothing at all, then the narrative is going to be spun about you. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. Sometimes the accusation alone, or once people get a thought in their minds, they're not able to change it. So some people are just stuck on, she said you shot her, you shot her. No, nothing you can say will change my mind. Some people are like that. So for him to say, I have something to say back, I got to defend myself, it was already set up for him to fail. And I think that he literally hopped, skipped, and jumped through all those obstacles as perfect as you can. Like from a strategic level, that was as good of a comeback as you can make it under his circumstances that somebody can make. Like literally, even to the point where like, yo, I still love you. You know what I mean? Like you can't. It was perfect. Like I want you back. No matter what you say, I want you back. I want you as a friend. I want you to come back. I still love you. Like I'm hurt by this.
Drake level scheming.
How do you make it so that you the victim?
Drake level scheming, dog.
How did he become the victim?
Dog, tilting to a high state. I mean, I'm tilting, bro. I'm tilting. Like,
but he makes compelling arguments.
Very compelling.
Like how you get shot in the foot ain't hit no tendons, bones and tendons. How can you saying that you run away and you get shot, but you can still identify the shooter? You know, why were you still in the car? If I shot you, why would you hop back in the car? You know, like it's so many questions, so many different things that could be, and just saying like, we know what happened, but you know, I can't say it. Mm-hmm. So you got to spin it like this. And then he called out everybody from JoJo, Lonnie, the Chance the Rapper, the Maul from the Joe Budden podcast, to Rock Nation Management. He called out Bun B. And
it was classy. He navigated that well.
With all due respect,
he navigated that the best way. That was the best one, probably.
Like all of that, and then
that one blew my mind.
It was
J.R. Smith. I
can't believe J.R. Smith like killed him. Yeah. And then to say like I would have never thought I would see the day where Black people are calling for me to get arrested. From a chest standpoint,
this isn't for that whole little. I don't know. Remember what song that was, but the whole first 30 seconds or minute to that song was hard as fuck. Like his flow on it, like that, like that whole like, dog, that shit was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, from crazy. The hardest song on there is The Most High.
Yeah,
that's the hardest song. The one where he dissed Maud, I'm like, like, oh my God, like he had a very strong take about like Tory Lanez being the most sucker,
Mm-hmm.
the lowest of the lowest, like the most sucker
Yep.
of them all. And he just caught a straight on the most fire song on there. Like, this is just a mean song. Like, from a strategy, it's literally the perfect strategy. The only strategy he could have employed without just completely self-destructing. And I think he raised a lot of valid arguments that had it make you think. Now, it's tough to take that in because you have to be objective. And we're not saying that he's telling the truth, but at the same time, it's three sides to every story. You got Meg's side, you got Tory's side, and then you got the truth. So Meg is going to say it her way. Tory is going to say it his way. So we're not saying that either one is right because at the end of the day, nobody was there. You know what I mean? That's going to speak on it without a slant. So we got to be able to take in both sides, as tough as it may seem, to say, hey, maybe we don't have all the information. Maybe there's another way of looking at it. There's still a lot of unanswered questions. And he kind of gave you that reasonable doubt. Hey, maybe we need to wait until this all gets figured out.
I think my biggest thing in my next thing I want to kind of talk about is the celebrities, the shots that he did send, why he sent them, and then kind of reaction to them. You can't throw stones when you're in the glass house, bro. One of the biggest things that he said to me was basically, hey, show me a history of domestic violence. Show me that. Show me where my history of domestic violence is. Like, where it's at. Every woman, ask any woman I've been, where it's at. Like, that was a small part. It was a small bar that he had in one of these songs. I can't remember which one it was, but it said it a lot to me, right? Because domestic violence is a thing that we've seen a lot of the time. If you do it, there's a history of it, or there's something in your background, right? Something that you learned that from somewhere, right? Because we not taught that. We don't just hit women, right?
Right.
So a history of it would speak out to a lot to me, right? Right. If he had a history of beating women or degrading them or anything like that. And I'm sure anybody in hip hop could say, like, he talked about the slurs and anything like that. You can take anything from hip hop and try to paint that picture then. Right. And that's my thing. You got to keep the same energy. Y'all mad at him for dropping an album in the wake of Breonna Taylor's thing. Why don't we get to it? Why don't we talk about everybody that's been making money since Breonna Taylor's been? No one stopped making money, bro. No one has stopped what they're doing for this. I'm sorry. I apologize. Maybe we should. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not. But don't just criticize Tory because you don't like him. And if you don't like him, just say that. If you believe Meg, just say that. Just say. Don't try to use other things like, it's Breonna Taylor. It's a bad timing. You can't just do this right now. Okay, well, A$AP Ferg dropped the album. Where y'all? Where the criticism of that? YG dropped something. Where the criticism of that? We watched on tape, and I don't want you to be a snitch, but we watched on tape the baby smack the fuck out of a woman. Where was the criticism there? That's all I'm saying. Like, keep the same energy. Y'all pick and choose very, very delicately. Like, y'all. I don't know why. I have no idea. But if it's an injustice, then call it out. If it's an injustice, call it out. Because what happens is, when you do this, it makes your argument weaker. Because every time you don't keep the same energy when something is an injustice, it makes it seem like it's cool. It's cool for some people to do, but other people's is not for, because I don't really care for them. That's whack. I talked about that last time we talked about that. If it's domestic violence, this is the energy I'm coming at you with. I don't condone it. I don't care if you my best friend. I don't care if you my father, my brother, my uncle, my cousin. I don't condone it. I don't care if he's my favorite artist, my favorite actor, my favorite athlete. I don't condone it. So if all I'm saying is keep the same energy. If you mad at him for something, you mad at him for Beyonce's thing. Okay, well, I want you to ask your best friend to stop posting her weaves and eyelashes. I want you to ask the McDonald's working down the street to stop working too. I want you to ask everything that's going on, every organization that's making money, everybody that's making music. I want you to ask every single person. I want you to go to the Breakfast Club, ask Charlamagne to stop working because he has something to say about him dropping the album too. Okay, all y'all stop doing that then. That's all I got. You got to have that same energy for everybody. You can't just say, okay, Tory Lanez, you can't do it. Why? Okay, Kevin, you can't make a podcast. Why? I makes sense. Make it make sense to me. That's all I'm saying. Just keep the same energy. You throwing these stones, all these artists. And I'm not gonna get because I already said the baby name, and I don't want to get disrespectful. There was a lot of men saying a lot of things about Tory Lanez about how wacky he was that have a clear past of domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
How ironic. The utter audacity. Like, I just don't understand that. I don't understand the concept of that. How can you tell me about something that I'm accused of when you clearly did it? You clearly been proven to have done it. So where are we at with this? Why are you even talking to me? Is your argument, oh, well, you shot her? No, I didn't. My case still open. That's why he came at Bun B Net. My case still open. I'm innocent until proven guilty. I didn't do anything. That's what I'm here to say. You've been proven guilty. Let's look at you. I texted this in the chat. I said people want to have the ability to judge you and yours, but they don't want you to take a look at what's going on beside what they got going on. They just want to be able to go online and type and say, oh, look at this motherfucker, he doing this. Oh, this motherfucker, he here and he there. All that shit to me is whack. And I'm sorry, I know I'm on a tangent a little bit, so I'm gonna let you go here in just a second. But all that shit to me is whack. And the biggest example of this of hypocrisy to me is Rick Ross in this and when he made his statements. And the reason why it's so it's such a bunch of hypocrisies, hypocritical, is because I'm sick of people that's supposed to be our OGs acting fucking whack. I'm sick of y'all clout chasing. Y'all so mad about clout chasing and people that run to the internet, but y'all be the first motherfuckers that do it. Every time I got on T.I. about this, I'm going to get on Rick Ross too. You knew that video was going to go viral. So you put all your tags or all your businesses on that motherfucker and then try to tell him about some making money with Breonna Taylor involved. You don't care about Breonna Taylor, bro. Stop it. You know why you did that. Stop it. You supposed to be an OG, bro. Do it the right way. That's all I'm at. This is why we led astray all the time. All these OGs doing fuck shit. It's ridiculous, bro. Like you would be that hypocritical to tell somebody about how to make money or when to make money or what time to make money while you steady trying to make money. You clowning, bro. You lost a lot of respect for that. That's all I gotta say, bro. You to me at least, you lost a lot of respect for that. You could have easily handled this. You could have found his number. You could have sent out some type of a better tweet. You could have hit him in a DM, something, bro. If you wanted to voice that opinion, you really wanted to come across as genuine, you wouldn't have took to Instagram. You wouldn't have. That's not the move. Because you hate it, right? You hate when young dudes do it. You hate with the clout chase and everything. Well, then stop doing it. Stop doing it. Be the example. Because that's whack to me. Every video you posted, you had several different brands and things like this was a motherfucking swipe up ad. That's whack, bro. That's whack. I'm sorry, I ran, but
I can talk, bro. That was goddamn. That's probably the best part of the episode right there.
No, my fault, bro.
Tuned in.
My fault.
I agree 100%. I really can't add anything else. It's more like when he get quote unquote canceled, when he say I put Molly on her champagne, she didn't even know it. I take her home and enjoyed that. She didn't even know it.
Really, Rick Ross?
What we talking about?
That's the real glass houses, bro. Yeah. You be trying to throw rocks.
So, I got nothing more to say. You killed that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That because I just be seeing that shit, bro. That shit. The thing that makes me the maddest is the OGs, though, bro. Is the OGs in the game being so fucking whack, bro? Yeah, y'all. This
is the thing, bro, and we're gonna talk about this in the next topic, bro. We've never had a time where people had this much access to just talk.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody can say whatever is on their mind at any given time, and the whole world is gonna listen. And we've never had this. Well, it's starting to get normalized, like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, social media has been around for a long time, but we've never been this politically active. We've never been this politically talkative, whereas though these conversations are really being had. And a lot of people don't know what's going on. A lot of people live in their own bubble. You know, like I remember when Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump was going at it and Jeezy was going back. He had an interview with the Breakfast Club And he was like, yeah, man, we need to vote for Hillary because that might be, it's like getting Bill Clinton back in the White House. And you remember Bill Clinton, they used to call him the first black president. It's like, that was 4 years ago. And that was the level of political commentary that we had at the time. It was like, bro, Bill Clinton, like even LeBron called him like, yo, you still the first black president. Like that was our political awareness as far as celebrities and people like that just 4 years ago. A lot has changed in 4 years, and we're starting to see everybody didn't change with the times. You know, the audience, I think the world is evolving as far as how we talk about these different things and how we want to be more informed and how we want to have these balanced perspectives. But we're starting to see that everybody doesn't have that. And just because somebody has a platform, because somebody has an audience doesn't really mean that they can check those boxes and talk about everything. So I think you hit the nail on the head right there.
Yeah. There's two ways to handle this. And this is for anybody, but celebrities especially. One way, 50 Cent said in an interview a long time ago on Breakfast Club, and he was referring to Lil Wayne and Baby. And basically what he was saying is the reason why he didn't have much to say on their topic because it wasn't finished yet. And there was a lot going on. He said he didn't want to get involved, but he said he took it to a place, and he said, it's like when you're, it's like if your mom and your best friend, if your best friend and his mom had a disagreement, and your best friend came to live with you for a little bit, and you said, hey, your mom's a bitch, she's this and that, she's this, that and this, they're going to eventually get back together. And when they do, now you can't come over there no more because you said some disrespectful shit about my mom. That's how y'all look. Right? That's how y'all look. The second way, another OG that said a bunch of stupid shit, if Boosie ain't saying shit, if Boosie get asked and say no comment, bro, ain't nobody should be talking because Boosie don't give a fuck. Boosie looked at that situation and he said, nope, I don't want no parts. I don't want no parts. I'm not taking a stance. I'm not doing anything. I'm not saying nothing. There's no comment over here. If Boosie say that out of all people, that should know you probably should stay in your lane for a little bit.
Facts.
That's all.
Yeah. In the great words of Jay-Z, what more can I say, bro? You kept that thing.
Man. Yeah, it's corny. It's a lot of corny shit going on. The rap game, like the biggest line there was that the what's going on with the rap game. This shit isn't for me, dog. Now, and I see it more and more every day, bro. More and more every day.
That's why we so hooked on R&B, bro.
That's why it might be, bro.
That's all
that might just
the
be
real ones out here singing their heart out.
Black come through, dog. Oh God, bro.
Who am I? The girls them sugar.